I'm a landlord who fell for my tenant, and now I have 24 hours to prove I'm not a monster. My tenant files a complaint against me, and I have 24 hours to prove I did not cross a line, or I lose my building, my name, and the one person I cannot stop thinking about. My phone buzzes again. A new email. Subject line, notice of hearing, rental registration review. I open it with my thumb already shaking. It is from the city. It says complaint received. It says response required by tomorrow at 9. It says possible revocation of rental registration. Then I see the complainant name, Maren. My chest tightens. My office is 3 steps from my front door, and my first thought is that I need to get to her unit before the panic does something stupid. My second thought hits harder. Do not go downstairs. Do not knock. Do not make this worse. I sit back in my chair and stare at the screen until the words blur. The complaint is not a repair request. It is not a noise complaint. It is not about the trash cans or the parking spots. It is labeled harassment and illegal entry. I feel heat rush up my neck. I have never entered her unit without notice. Not once. I have the text to prove it. I have the calendar invites. I have the key log for the smart lock I installed in the hallway for exactly this reason. My phone buzzes again. This time it is a text from Maren. One day, that's what they said, don't contact me. My mouth goes dry. I type 3 words. I'm coming down. I delete them. I type 4 new words. I need to talk. I delete those too. I pick up my phone and call. It goes to voicemail after 1 ring. Her voicemail greeting is the same as always. Bright. Warm. Like she is smiling even when she is not. My phone buzzes again. Another email. This one is from my lender. Subject line, underwriting hold. I open it. 1 sentence jumps out. We have been notified of a municipal compliance issue. I let out a sound that is not a laugh. The refinance. The one thing I have been counting on to keep this building afloat after the roof quote came back higher than my entire emergency fund. The thing that lets me stop working 14-hour days. The thing I promised myself I would finish before I turned 35. My phone buzzes again. A calendar notification I did not set. City hearing tomorrow, 9 a.m. I stand up so fast my knee hits the underside of the desk. Pain flashes, but it does not slow me. I pace the room, then stop, then pace again. My brain runs in circles. I replay every interaction with Maren. Every time she texted about the heater. Every time I showed up with a toolbox. Every time I stood in her doorway and tried not to look at anything personal. Every time she smiled at me like I was a good thing in her day. The words illegal entry punched through the noise. Someone thinks I walked into her home without permission. Someone thinks I used my key because I could. Someone thinks I am that kind of landlord. My phone buzzes again. This one is a new message request from a number I do not recognize. You're the landlord, right? City is not playing. You better have receipts. My stomach drops. How does someone already know? How is this already out? How fast do these things spread when people want a villain? I sit down hard and force myself to breathe. In, out, out. I open my notes app and type a list. Timeline, text, key logs, camera footage, repair requests, witnesses. My cursor blinks like a metronome. Tick, tick, tick. A knock hits my office door. 3 sharp taps. Not the soft knock my friends use. Not the hesitant knock of a delivery driver. This is confident. This is someone who is not asking permission. I open the door and my tenant is standing there. Maren looks like she has not slept. Her hair is pulled back in a tight knot. Her eyes are red, but her face is calm in a way that scares me more than anger. She holds a folder against her chest like it is armor. She does not step inside. She stays on the threshold. That alone feels like a verdict. I have an appointment, she says. Her voice is steady. I am not staying. What appointment? I ask. And hate how small I sound. The one where I tell them what happened, she says. Tomorrow. I need to understand what you think happened, I say. I need to fix it. Her jaw clenches. You had my door open, she says, and you were inside. My lungs stop working for half a second. I was not, I say. I swear I was not. She flinches like my words are not enough to hold her up. Do not swear, she says. Just don't. She slides a paper from the folder and holds it out. It is a screenshot printout, a grainy still image. My hallway, my unit numbers, her door. The camera angle is from across the courtyard. In the still image, a man stands at her door. The door is open. He is half inside. The man is wearing a dark jacket and a baseball cap. The photo is too blurred to see his face clearly, but I know the posture. I know the shoulders. I know the height. It looks like me. Maren watches my face. You see it, she says. You see why I cannot pretend? My mouth opens, then closes. I want to shout that it is not me. I want to run downstairs and pull the building footage and throw it on her kitchen table like proof. But she has already decided I am dangerous. And yelling never turns danger into safety. Where did you get that? I ask. A neighbor, she says. They sent it to me last night. A neighbor, of course. In a building where everybody watches everybody, all it takes is one story to turn into a verdict. I did not enter your unit, I say. I have never entered your unit without you there. You are the landlord, she says. You have keys. I do, I say. And I also have rules, written ones. She lets out a short breath. I used to believe rules mattered, she says. Then I rented before this. That sentence lands like a brick. Before this. A whole life behind her eyes that I do not fully know. A life that makes my explanations sound like excuses. I cannot do this with you, she says, and I do not know what she means. The building. The lease. Or the small thing that has been growing between us. The thing we have both been pretending is not there. Maren, I say. Give me today. Just today. If I am wrong, if I crossed a line, then tell me to go away and I will. But if this is not me, I need a chance to prove it. Her grip tightens on the folder. I am not meeting you alone, she says. Not again. Again. I repeat because that word cuts. Her eyes flick down to my hands, then back up. You keep saying you never came in, she says. So who did? That is the question that makes my blood run cold. Because if it was not me, then someone else walked into her home. Someone else used access meant for emergencies. Someone else made her feel unsafe in the place she sleeps. And if I do not figure out who, the city will not care that it was not me. They will care that it happened in my building, under my responsibility, with my keys. I will find out, I say. She studies me. For a second, I see the Maren I know, the one who laughs at my bad jokes. The one who sends me photos of the weirdest things her dog finds in the courtyard. The one who texted thank you with a heart the night I replaced her broken window latch. Then her face closes again. You have until tomorrow, she says. After that, I am gone. She turns and walks away down the hall. No slam. No scene. Just distance. When she disappears around the stairwell, I stand in my doorway and feel the building tilt. I shut the door and move fast. I open my laptop. I pull up the hallway camera feed. I rewind. My hands are steady now because panic is useless and I need facts. The footage is clear. A man at Maren's door. Dark jacket. Baseball cap. The door opens. He steps in like he belongs. Then he turns and the camera catches the side of his face. It is not me. Relief hits first. Then and dread follows it, because if it is not me, it is someone I have let into this building, someone with access, someone I trusted. I pause the frame and zoom in. The man's face is partly obscured by the cap brim, but I recognize the shape of his beard, the way he moves, like he is in a hurry and also not worried about being seen. I whisper one name even before I check myself. Wesley. Wesley is not my tenant. He is not my friend. He is the maintenance contractor I have used for the last year. He is the guy who can fix a clogged drain in 10 minutes and swap a breaker without complaining. He is also the one person I gave a spare key set to, for emergencies, because I thought I was being responsible. My phone buzzes. A new text from Wesley. Hey man, I'm nearby. You need me to swing by for that leak? My hands go cold. Leak. Marin did text about a leak. Yesterday afternoon. I told her I would schedule it today. I did not tell Wesley to go. I did not authorize anyone to enter. Unless I did and I forgot. Unless I sent a quick, go take a look, and now my whole life is collapsing because of a careless text. I scroll my messages. I find the thread. Yesterday, 3:42 p.m. Wesley. Got time this evening if you want me to check that thing in 4B. Me. No entry without her there. I'll set a time. Wesley. Cool. I stare at it until my eyes sting. I was clear. I was explicit. No entry. My phone buzzes again. From Marin. A single line. I'm packing. I type back. I have footage. It's not me. I do not send it. If I send it without context, it sounds like I am trying to control the story. It sounds like I am pushing. It sounds like I am still not hearing her. I call my lender instead. The line rings. A cheerful automated voice tells me their office is open until 5. It is not even 10 a.m. I have 7 hours to stop the refinance from dying. 23 hours to stop the city from deciding I am unfit to own this place. And maybe less than that to stop Marin from leaving with her trust permanently broken. When a person finally answers, I keep my voice level. I need to know what you were notified about, I say, and what you need from me today. The lender's voice is polite, too polite. The kind of voice that says they have already moved me into the category of risk. It's a compliance flag, she says. Municipal. Our system pulled it. We have to pause underwriting until it's resolved. Resolved how, I ask? Because I have a hearing tomorrow. There is a pause. Then she says, if the city issues a violation, we will need the clearance letter. Tomorrow is the hearing, I repeat. Is there anything I can send today to keep this from being a hard stop? She exhales like she has heard this before. If you have documentation that the complaint is being withdrawn, that can help. Withdrawn. I picture Marin's face. The folder-like armor. The way she stood on my threshold like I was fire. Okay, I say. I'll get you something. I hang up and stare at the wall. The only way to keep the refinance alive is to convince Marin to withdraw a complaint she believes is protecting her. And the only way to convince her is to prove the truth without asking her to trust me first. I text Wesley. Did you enter 4B last night? 3 dots appear. Then disappear. Then reappear. Yeah. He texts. Quick look, door was already sticking. I knocked. No one answered. I needed to see the cabinet under the sink. My jaw tightens. You went in without her, he replies fast. Man, it was an emergency thing. Water can spread? I've done it 100 times. I read the text twice. Emergency thing. 100 times. Like that is supposed to make it okay. You used my keys, I type. You made it look like me. He sends one more message. Relax. I'm saving your property. Relax. The word makes me see red. I stand up and grab my coat. I do not have time to argue over text. I need the spare key set back. I need Wesley out of my building, and I need to tell Marin the truth in a way that does not sound like a defense. When I step into the hallway, the building feels louder than usual. A door closes. A dog barks. A TV murmurs through a wall. I head for the stairs. Halfway down, my phone buzzes with a new notification. A local community group post. Someone tagged renters' rights and slumlord warning. The post title is simple. Landlord caught entering tenant's unit. My stomach drops. It is already public. It has photos. It has comments. It has strangers arguing in capital letters. I do not read the comments. I do not have that kind of time. I screenshot the post and keep moving. At Marin's door, I stop. I breathe. I remind myself that urgency is not permission. I text her instead. I found who entered. It wasn't me. I have video. I can show it to you with the door open in the hall. You can bring someone. Please. A minute passes. 2, 3. Then her door unlocks. Not fully. Just the chain. Marin's eyes appear through the crack. What do you want? She asks. Truth, I say. And safety. She hesitates. Then unhooks the chain and opens the door fully. She does not invite me in. She stands in the doorway, blocking the entrance like a guard. Show me, she says. I hold up my phone. I'm going to play it right here, I say. In the hall. You can record it if you want. She nods once. Barely. I play the clip. The man at her door. The step inside. The side profile. The beard. The cap. Marin's face goes still. Then her hand goes to her mouth. That's not you, she says. No, I say. It's Wesley. She looks up sharply. The maintenance guy. Yes, I say. I never authorized entry. I told him not to. Her eyes narrow. You told him in a text, she says. I did, I say. I can show you. She holds out her hand. Not for me. For the phone. For the evidence. I scroll and show the message thread. The no entry line sits there like a lifeline. Marin reads it twice. Then she looks at me like she is trying to decide whether my life is built on truth or on lucky screenshots. If you did not authorize it, she says, then why did he do it? Because he thought he could. Because I trusted him and he abused it. Because landlords get blamed for the people they hire. And sometimes they should. I don't know, I admit, but I'm finding out. Her shoulders drop a fraction. It is the smallest relief. It is also not enough. Because the complaint is still filed. The hearing is still tomorrow. And her home was still violated. I'm sorry, I say. I know sorry is not a fix. But I am sorry. Her eyes flicker. Do you understand what it feels like? She asks. To wake up and realize someone has been inside your space. To see a photo and think it was you. To realize you were right to never trust the power imbalance. Power imbalance. There it is. The thing we have both been avoiding naming. I do, I say. I think I do. She laughs once, short and bitter. You don't, she says. You own the building. You can walk away. I swallow. I can lose it, I say. And I might. Her gaze snaps to mine. What, she says. I have a city hearing tomorrow. I say. A lender paused my refinance. If the city revokes my registration, I can't rent. I can't cover the mortgage. I lose the building. Marin blinks. Then looks away like she hates that she feels something. Because empathy makes people vulnerable. and she is in no mood to be vulnerable with me. Why are you telling me? She asks. Because the story online is moving without us, I say. And I need you to know I'm not trying to bury what happened. I want accountability. I also need the city to know the actual facts. She looks down at her folder. I already filed, she says. I didn't even want to, but the tenant hotline lady told me if I don't document it, I'm stupid. That's not stupid, I say. That's self-protection. Her jaw tightens again. You want me to withdraw it? She says. I do not dodge. Yes, I say. Only if you feel safe doing that, and only if we replace it with a report that names the right person. She holds my gaze for a long moment. Then she says, I don't want you negotiating this with me. Okay, I say. Tell me what you need. I want a third party, she says. Everything in writing. And I want the locks changed today. Yes, I say. All of it. And, she adds, like she hates she needs to ask, I want to know you're not going to punish me for filing. That sentence stings. Not because it is unfair. Because it is fair. Too many people in my position do punish tenants for speaking up. I will not, I say. And if you want out of your lease, no fees. Her eyes lift. Really? She says. Yes, I say. If you stay, we fix it. If you leave, I help you leave safely. Either way, you don't pay for my contractor's choices. Marin's throat moves. She swallows. For a second, her eyes soften. Then the wall comes back up. Send me everything, she says. Today. I will, I say. She steps back and closes the door. Not slamming, but final. I walk downstairs and feel the building watching me. I feel every window like an eye. Outside, the December air bites. I cross the courtyard and dial Wesley again. He answers like nothing is wrong. Yo, he says. What's up? You entered Marin's unit, I say. You used my keys. You did it after I told you not to. He sighs. Dude, you're overreacting. No, I say. You're done. I need my keys back. There is a pause. Then he laughs. You're firing me over a drain. I'm firing you over trust, I say. And over my tenant's safety. He goes quiet. Then his voice changes. Harder. You gonna pay what you owe me? I swallow. I hate that money can turn a conversation into a threat. Without anyone needing to say the word. I'll pay your invoices, I say. Today. You give me the keys today. He lets out a breath. Fine. I'm on Elm. Elm. A generic street. No address. No details. Just the place we always meet when we swap supplies. I'm coming, I say. When I hang up, I open the local community post again. The comments are worse now. Someone posted my business page. Someone posted a photo of my building from the street. Someone wrote, this is why landlords are trash. I want to reply. I want to defend myself. I want to argue in the comments like a teenager. Instead, I take screenshots. I document everything. Because tomorrow feelings will not matter. Only proof will. By noon, I have the spare keys back in my hand. Wesley tosses them to me like they are nothing. Like they did not open a door that was not his. Like they did not turn my life into a headline. I do not throw them back. I do not punch him. I do not do anything that makes a worse story. I get back to the building and immediately call a locksmith. Not the cheapest one. The fastest one. The one with a website that looks like it has insurance. While I wait, I draft an email to Marin. I attach the footage stills, the full video clip, the text message chain. A written statement that I did not authorize entry. A written statement that Wesley is terminated effective immediately. A written statement that locks are being changed today. A written statement that I will cover a hotel for one night if she feels unsafe. No conditions. No strings. My fingers hover over send. I read it once. Twice. 3 times. I hit send. Then I draft an email to the city. Short. Factual. No excuses. I request an emergency reschedule. I request that the hearing consider contractor misconduct. I attach the same evidence. I emphasize tenant safety. I ask for a temporary compliance hold while we correct access policies. I do not blame Marin, not once. At 1 p.m., the locksmith arrives. He is a role, not a name. He is efficient. He changes locks and rekeys common doors. He hands Marin a new set directly. He hands me a separate set and makes me sign that I will store them in a lockbox with a log. I agree. If it protects my tenants, it protects me too. Marin opens her door when the locksmith knocks. She stays in the hallway the whole time. She watches him work like she is measuring every turn of the screwdriver. When it is done, she looks at me. Now what? She asks. Now we tell the city the truth, I say, and we decide what you want. She presses her lips together. I want to feel normal again, she says. I nod. I can't give you normal today, I say, but I can give you control. She lets out a slow breath. Okay, she says. Control. We move to the courtyard. Public space. Open air, no closed doors. She asked for a third party, so I call the tenant hotline. A woman answers. Roll only. The voice is calm and practiced. Marin speaks first. She explains the photo, the fear, the feeling of being watched. She does not soften the story for my comfort. She should not. Then I speak. I explain my policies. I explain the evidence. I explain that I terminated the contractor. I explain that locks are changed. I explain that I will accept any oversight the city wants. I keep my voice steady. I keep my words short. I do not try to be charming. This is not a date. This is accountability. The hotline woman listens. Then she says, Marin, do you want to withdraw the complaint or amend it? Marin's eyes dart to mine. Then away. She looks down at her hands. Her fingers are shaking. I hate that I notice. I hate that my heart wants to comfort her when I'm part of why she needs comfort. I want to amend it, Marin says. I want it to name the contractor. And I want the city to require key log policies. Relief hits me. Not because it saves me. Because it is fair. Because it is a solution. Because it protects her and everyone else. The hotline woman explains how to amend. She sends a link. Marin opens it. She fills it out in the courtyard with her shoulders tight. When she hits submit, she looks up. That doesn't fix tomorrow, she says. No, I admit. It helps. But the hearing is still real. She nods. I'll show up, she says. And I'll tell them what happened. My chest loosens. Thank you, I say. Then I regret it. Because gratitude from the landlord can sound like pressure. Marin sees the regret. Her expression shifts. Don't thank me, she says. This is still messed up. It is, I say. And you're still helping anyway. She looks away. Then she says quietly, I don't like being the person who has to help the person with power. That sentence is a wound. And a lesson. You shouldn't have to, I say. That's why I'm trying to build a system where you don't. She studies me. Then she asks, why did you become a landlord? It is a strange question. The kind that lands in the space between crisis and connection. The kind that might matter more than the hearing. I could give her the business answer. Investment, equity, financial independence. Instead, I tell her the truth. My mom rented, I say, for most of my life. We moved when rent went up. We moved when a landlord decided he didn't like us. I promised myself I would own something and do it better. Marin's eyes soften. Just a fraction. Better, she repeats. I'm not perfect, I say, but I want to be safe. She nods once. Then her phone buzzes. Her face changes instantly. She holds it up. It is a notification. Someone tagged her in the community post. Her eyes widen. They found me, she says. My stomach drops again. How? I ask. She scrolls. Someone wrote, Tenant is Marin. Ask her what he did. Someone else replied with her unit number. Someone else replied with her car make. The comments are a hunt now. Marin's hands shake harder. She looks at me like the courtyard is suddenly too small. I can't, she says. I can't do this. That's doxing, I say. My voice stays controlled, but my mind is roaring. This is not just my reputation anymore. This is her safety. This is her privacy. This is exactly what tenants fear when they report anything. I'm reporting the post, she says. Her voice is thin. They won't take it down in time. I think fast. Options. Actions. Proof. I'm going to post a statement, I say. On my page, Marin looks at me sharply. No, she says. That's you controlling the narrative. It's me taking responsibility, I say, and telling them to stop. She shakes her head. They won't stop because you ask, she says. They stop when they get bored, I swallow. And they get bored when there's no mystery, I say. When there's no villain to chase. Marin's eyes narrow. You're going to say it wasn't you, she says. I'm going to say it was a contractor, I say. And that I fired him. And that we changed locks. And that anyone posting tenant info is putting someone in danger. She hesitates. I can see the battle. Trust versus fear. Solution versus exposure. Don't use my name, she says. I won't, I promise. Not even once. I open my phone. I write the statement in plain language. No dramatic tone. No defensiveness. Just facts. I include a screenshot of the footage with the face blurred. I include the policy changes. I include the line that matters most. Do not share tenant information. It is unsafe. Then I post it. Within minutes, comments appear. Some people apologize. Some double down. Some accuse me of lying. Some ask for the full video. I do not share the full video. I will not turn my tenant's hallway into entertainment. I will not feed the hunger that doxed her. Marin watches the comments for 30 seconds. Then she shoves her phone into her pocket. I can't read this, she says. I need to breathe. I nod. Go inside, I say. I'll handle what I can. She looks at my building like it is a stranger. I don't know if inside feels safe, she says. The words hit me in the ribs. Because this place is my project. My pride. My promise to be better. And right now it does not feel safe to the person I care about most. I can pay for a hotel, I say. No pressure. Marin's gaze flicks to mine. You're doing a lot, she says, for someone you barely know. I should say, because you're my tenant. I should say because it's the right thing. I should keep it neutral. I should not bring feelings into a crisis. Instead, I say the truth softer, because I don't want you scared in your own home. Marin looks away. Then she says, I'll stay, but I want the chain on. Put every lock you have on, I say. And if you change your mind, call me. Don't call, she corrects. Text. I nod. Text, I say. When she goes inside, I stand in the courtyard and feel the weight of the day. It is not even 3 p.m. Tomorrow is still coming like a train. I spend the next hour compiling evidence. I print key logs. I print contractor agreements. I print termination notice. I print my new lockbox policy. I print the amended complaint confirmation Marin forwards. I take screenshots of the doxing comments and report them. I document everything, because paperwork is the only language bureaucracies believe. At 5 p.m., the city emails back. They did not reschedule. They did, however, confirm the amended complaint is received. They request that the tenant attend. They request that I attend. They request that I bring any supporting documentation. They also request that I bring my rental registration certificate. The email ends with one line. Failure to comply may result in immediate enforcement action. Immediate enforcement. I picture a notice posted on my building door. I picture tenants panicking. I picture my mom reading an article and calling me disappointed. I picture Marin packing boxes while strangers comment on her life. My phone buzzes. A text from Marin. They want me there. I know, I type. I'm sorry. She replies. I'm going. A minute later, another message. Do you have a lawyer? The question makes me laugh once. Not because it's funny. Because it's absurd that my life has become a situation where a lawyer might be needed. And I am still wearing the same hoodie I slept in. I don't, I text. But I can get one. She replies fast. Don't. Just don't escalate. I stare at the word escalate. My whole day has been one escalation after another. The idea that I can choose not to escalate anything feels like a joke. I'll keep it simple, I text. Facts only. Her reply comes slower. Okay. Then, after another pause, she sends one more. And Grant? My stomach flips at the way she says my name. Like there's still a person under the paperwork. Yes, I text. Don't try to be the hero, she writes. Just be honest. I sit back and let that sink in. Honest. Not heroic. Not charming. Not perfect. Just honest. That night I do not sleep much. I lie in bed and stare at the ceiling. Every time I close my eyes, I see the blurred photo of a man at her door. I hear the word again. I feel the shame of realizing trust can be broken by the people you hire. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzes. A new message from a number I do not recognize. You think firing the guy fixes it? You're still the landlord. I do not reply. I screenshot. I add it to my folder. Because the truth is, they're right in a way. Firing the guy does not fix the fact that I had a system that allowed it. At 7 a.m., I make coffee I barely taste. At 8, I put the folder in my bag. At 8:30, I stand in the courtyard and wait. Not by Marin's door, not on her floor, in the open, where she can choose to approach or not. At 8:42, she steps outside. She is dressed like she is going to court. Simple, clean, intentional. She holds her own folder. She sees me and stops. Not fear, just caution. The kind that keeps you alive. I'm here, she says. I see, I say. I do not move closer. I'm glad. She looks at the building, then at me, then at the street. I hate that this is my morning, she says. I hate it too, I say. And I'm sorry, she nods. Then she starts walking toward her car. I follow at a distance. Not beside her, not behind her like a shadow, just nearby. Visible, predictable. At the city office, we sit in a waiting room. Plastic chairs, faded posters, a receptionist who does not look up. Marin sits 3 chairs away from me. The space feels like a wall, and I respect it. I sit still. I keep my hands on my knees. I do not scroll. I do not fidget. I try to look like someone who understands that safety is not about what you mean. It's about what you do. A door opens. A city officer calls my building address. Not a name, an address. A piece of property. A file. We stand. Marin walks in first. Then me. The officer gestures to chairs. We sit. A second city person enters. A third. A roll with a badge. A roll with a clipboard. A roll with tired eyes. They start with Marin. Tell us what happened, the officer says. Marin's voice is steady. She explains the photo. The open door. The fear. She describes how she felt. She describes why she filed. She does not exaggerate. She does not minimize. She says the words power imbalance again. She says, I did not feel safe. Then she slides the amended complaint across the table. And I want it clear, she says. It was not Grant in the footage. It was the contractor. I saw the hallway video. And the locks were changed that same day. The officer looks at me for the first time. Is that accurate? He asks. Yes, I say. And then I add, because honesty is the only chance I have. It should not have happened. My policy was no entry without tenant present. I gave him sent keys for emergencies and I did not enforce a log. That's on me. The officer raises an eyebrow. Why did you give a contractor unrestricted access, he asks. Because I was trying to be efficient. Because I was scared of a pipe burst. Because I did not want to bother tenants. Because I wanted to believe my judgment was enough. I thought I was being proactive, I say. I see now it was a risk. I changed the policy. I installed a lockbox with a log. I revoked all contractor keys. No one has a spare set now but me, and it's documented. The officer flips through my documents. He pauses at the termination notice. He pauses at the locksmith invoice. He pauses at the keylog policy. He pauses at the screenshots of the online post. This is public, he says. Yes, I say. And people shared tenant info. I reported it. I posted a statement telling people to stop. I will do whatever else is required to protect tenant privacy. The city person with the clipboard looks at Marin. Did you feel pressured to amend the complaint? She asks. Marin's eyes flick toward me. Then she looks directly at the clipboard woman. No, she says. He offered to let me out of my lease without fees. He offered a hotel, but he didn't threaten anything. I asked for changes, and he did them. The air in the room shifts, not to relief, to seriousness. Like they're deciding what to do with a case that is real, but not what it looked like at first. The officer speaks. This is still a violation of access standards, he says, even if you were not the person who entered. As the owner, you are responsible for controlling keys. I nod. I understand, I say. He slides a document toward me. Corrective action plan, he says. Sign it. Implement it. We will inspect compliance in 30 days. If you meet the conditions, we will not revoke your registration. My throat tightens. Not because it's a win, because it's a chance. A path forward that doesn't involve disaster. I sign. My hand is steady. The officer looks at Marin. Do you feel safe remaining in the unit under these conditions? He asks. Marin hesitates. It is the only time her voice wavers. I feel safer, she says. I don't know if I feel settled. The officer nods like he understands. You may terminate your lease early without penalty, he says. He looks at me. That is required. Tenant's choice. My chest squeezes, because that is what I offered, and it still hurts to hear it as an official requirement. It means my building is now a file, a flagged address, a case. I agree, I say. Fully. Marin breathes out. The officer stands. The meeting is over. No dramatic ending. No applause. Just paperwork. In the hallway, Marin stops. She grips her folder like she did yesterday, but her shoulders are lower. That's it, she says. For now, I say. 30-day inspection. Corrective plan. She nods. Then she looks up at me. Your lender, she says. Will this be enough? I swallow. I don't know, I admit, but I'll send them the clearance conditions today. Marin nods. Then she says, I'm sorry. The word surprises me. Don't be, I say. You did what you needed. She looks away. I didn't want to be someone's problem, she says. I just wanted a safe apartment. You deserve that, I say. And I failed you even if it wasn't my hands. Her eyes meet mine again. For a second, the space between us feels smaller. Not gone, but smaller. We walk outside. The air is cold. The city building doors close behind us with a soft thud. The world keeps moving like nothing happened. Marin looks at her car, then at mine. What now? She asks. Now. The word is dangerous, because now could be anything. Now could be awkward distance. Now could be friendship. Now could be a conversation we have both been ignoring. Now could be a boundary. Now could be a beginning. You go home, I say. You decide what you want. I don't ask you to stay. I don't ask you to forgive. I just keep the building safe. She nods slowly. Then she says, you didn't have to admit fault. I blink. Yes, I did, I say, because it was my system. She studies me. Then she asks, is this why you always hovered in the hallway when you fixed things? Why you never stepped inside? I feel heat creep up my neck. It was partly policy, I say, and partly respect, and partly because I knew if I ever blurred a line, I couldn't unblur it. Marin's mouth twitches like she almost smiles. You blur lines in other ways, she says. My heart stutters. What ways? I ask, even though I know. The way you remember my dog's favorite treat, she says. The way you fixed my window latch at 9 p.m. The way you looked like you wanted to say something at the end of summer. The way you never did. I swallow hard. This is the moment I should step back. This is the moment I should protect both of us by pretending feelings don't exist. This is the moment that could turn into something unsafe if handled wrong. I keep my voice even. I didn't say anything because you're my tenant, I say. And that matters. Marin nods. It does, she says. And I hate that it does. I let out a breath. I hate it too, I admit. Because I like you. And I've liked you for a while. Her eyes widen slightly. Then she looks away like she's checking her own reaction. When she looks back, her voice is quiet. I like you too, she says. And I also don't want to be the tenant who dates her landlord and then regrets it. I don't want that either, I say. I want you safe. I want you in control. Marin's gaze softens. What would control look like, she asks. It's a practical question. A Marin question. Not romantic. Not dramatic. Real. It looks like boundaries, I say. It looks like no dates while you live in my building. It looks like you choosing what happens next. It looks like me stepping back even if I don't want to. Marin's lips press together. She looks down at her hands. Then she says, I might leave. The sentence hits like a punch. Even though I knew it was possible. Even though it's fair. Even though it might be the healthiest thing for her. I understand, I say. And I'll help, she nods. Then she says, I hate that part of me wants to stay. Not because of the apartment, because of you. My throat tightens. I force myself not to reach for her, not to touch, not to cross a line that still exists. I'm not going anywhere, I say. Even if you do. Marin's eyes shine. She blinks fast. Then she inhales and straightens. Okay, she says. Then here's what I want. I wait. I want a new lease somewhere else, she says. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. I want to feel like I chose you, not like circumstances pushed me into your orbit. A strange relief runs through me. Not relief that she's leaving. Relief that she's choosing the healthiest version of the story, even if it hurts. I can do that, I say. I can help you find a place. I can write a reference. I can cover the moving truck. And I can keep my mouth shut about my feelings until you're settled. Marin lets out a breath. Thank you, she says. And then, because she is Marin, she adds, also, I want you to stop using contractors who think keys are toys. I let out a short laugh. Deal, I say. Never again. We part in the parking lot. No hug. No dramatic moment. Just a nod. Just a mutual agreement that safety comes first. That afternoon, I send my lender the corrective action plan. I send the hearing outcome. I send the inspection schedule. I attach Marin's amended complaint confirmation. I emphasize the city is not revoking registration. I use short sentences. Facts. Proof. Paperwork. At 5:20, my lender emails back. Underwriting resumed pending 30-day compliance inspection. Not a full win. A pause on disaster. A chance. I should feel relief. Instead, I feel tired and oddly hollow. Because the cost of this chance is a person I care about packing boxes in my building. Over the next 2 weeks, we keep it practical. Marin texts about repairs like normal. I respond quickly. Always in writing, always with notice, always with options. I install a digital key log system that sends automatic alerts to tenants. I create a policy binder for every unit. I make it impossible for one person's laziness to become a tenant's fear again. The community post fades. New drama replaces it. People get bored. The hunt moves on. But the residue stays. A few residents still look at me like I might be the villain. A few tenants avoid eye contact. I don't blame them. Trust is slow. Marin tours apartments. Sometimes she texts me a photo of a listing. No commentary. Just a screenshot. Like she's asking, is this decent? Like she's letting me help without handing me power. I reply with practical notes. Ask about water pressure. Ask about key policies. Ask who has access. I do not say, I wish you were staying. I do not say, I miss you. Not yet. One Saturday, she texts me again. Can you come down? Chain on. My heart jumps anyway. I reply fast. On my way. I knock. She opens the door with the chain still latched. Her dog's nose pushes through the gap. I found something, she says. About the break-in, I ask. She nods. She holds up a small object. A spare key. Not mine. Not her new one. An old one. A simple metal key. I found it behind the radiator, she says. I didn't put it there. My blood goes cold again. How long has it been there? I ask. I don't know, she says. But it means someone had access before. Maybe the previous tenant. Maybe. She stops. Her eyes dart. Maybe Wesley wasn't the only one. The air shifts. Because this is a new escalation. A new question. A new danger. And we thought we were past the worst. Don't touch it, I say. Then I catch myself. I soften. Put it in a bag, I say. We document it. Marin nods. She grabs a plastic bag. She slides the key inside like it's evidence. I pull up the camera footage again. I search earlier weeks. I search earlier months. I look for patterns. I look for unfamiliar faces. I look for people lingering. I look for any moment that explains the spare key behind her radiator. Because if the building has an access issue beyond one contractor, the corrective plan is not enough. And Marin's safety is not enough. That night, I find it. A clip from 3 months ago, before Marin even moved in. A person enters the back gate. Not a tenant. Not a mail carrier. A role I can't identify. They walk to the basement door. They try the handle. It opens. They disappear inside. They come out 20 minutes later carrying a small box. Then they leave. No rush. No fear. Like it's normal. My stomach twists. How did they get in? Why didn't the camera alert me? Why did I not notice? Because I was busy. Because I was tired. Because I trusted my routines more than reality. I text Marin. I found something. I think someone accessed the basement months ago. I'm calling the police for a report. Not for drama, for documentation. Is that okay? She replies fast. Yes. Thank you for asking. I file a report. A roll arrives. He takes notes. He watches the footage. He shrugs in a way that makes me want to scream. But he writes a report number. That number matters. I change more locks. Basement. Back gate. Storage areas. I install brighter lights, motion sensors, better cameras. I notify every tenant in writing. I acknowledge the incident without panic. I offer free lock changes for any unit that wants it. I offer to escort anyone to their car at night, but I phrase it as a maintenance walkthrough, not heroics. I bring in a professional security audit. No names, just roles. Experts. Accountability. Marin watches the changes like she is measuring whether I am a man who learns or a man who performs. I hope I am learning. I want to be. The spare key becomes the final straw for her moving timeline. She signs a lease in a different building across town. Not a fancy place. Just a place with a management company and controlled access. She sends me a screenshot. No smiley face. No excitement. Just the fact. I feel something break and heal at the same time. Because she is choosing herself. Because she is leaving my orbit. Because she is doing what I promised I would support. And because it means there's a clean line now where there wasn't before. I write her a reference letter. 2 paragraphs. Clear. Honest. I mention she pays on time. I mention she keeps the unit in good condition. I mention she communicates well. I do not mention the city hearing. I do not mention the online post. I do not mention my feelings. It is not their business. On moving day, I show up with a dolly and a truck rental receipt. I text first. Do you want help? Say no if you want. No hard feelings. She replies. Yes. Thank you. And boundaries. My friend is here. Her friend is a role. A watchful presence. A third party. I respect it. I keep it practical. I carry boxes. I do not linger in doorways. I do not make jokes that sound like flirting. I do not use her name more than necessary. I am a helper, not a claim. At her new place, she unlocks the door and pauses. She looks at the hallway. The new paint. The new smells. The new sounds. Then she exhales. Okay, she says. Okay, it is not joy. It is relief. And relief is holy in a story like this. We unload the last box. Her dog explores. Marin's shoulders finally drop. She looks at me like she's seeing me without the lease between us. Without the building between us. Without the door keys between us. I'm settled, she says. Her voice is quiet. Now what? My heart hammers. Because now the boundary she asked for exists. Now the power imbalance is not the same. Now I can speak like a person, not a landlord. But still I have to be careful. Because safety is not a switch you flip. It's a pattern. Now I say, I ask you a question. And you can say no. And it won't change anything. Marin's eyes soften. Okay, she says. I'd like to take you to coffee, I say. Not to talk about the complaint. Not to talk about the building. Just coffee. 1 hour. In public. You choose the place. Marin laughs softly. Not bitter. Not forced. Real. You're still doing it, she says. Doing what? I ask. Trying to make everything safe, she says. Like it's teasing. Like it's affectionate. Like it's a good thing. I swallow. I'm trying to make you comfortable, I say. And also trying not to mess this up. Marin steps closer. Not touching. Just closer? She looks up at me. I'm comfortable, she says. And I'm also scared. Not of you. Of how much I want this. My chest feels too full for my ribs. You can go slow, I say. We can do whatever pace keeps you feeling in control. Marin nods. Then she says, coffee Saturday. And if you show up with a folder of documents, I'm leaving. I laugh. Deal, I say. No paperwork. She smiles. It's small, but it's real. Then she reaches out and touches my sleeve. Just a brief contact. A test. A choice. A yes. I'm proud of you, she says quietly, for admitting fault, for changing systems, for not blaming me, for not asking me to make you feel better. I swallow hard. I didn't always get it right, I say. I'm still learning. She nods. So am I, she says. Then she adds, I'm sorry I assumed. Don't, I say. It was a reasonable fear. And the world gives you reasons. Marin's eyes hold mine. Saturday, she repeats, like she's anchoring herself to something good. Coffee, I nod. Coffee, I say. On the drive back to my building, I pass my own street and see it differently. Not as a dream, not as a project, as a responsibility, as a place where people sleep, as a place where safety has to be designed, not assumed. The 30-day inspection comes. A roll walks through. He checks locks. He checks logs. He checks notices. He checks cameras. He checks policies. He asks questions that make my stomach twist. But this time I have answers. Not excuses. Systems. Proof. 2 days later, the city sends the clearance letter. Rental registration maintained. Compliance verified. Case closed. I forward it to my lender. This time the email back is simple. Clearance received. Closing scheduled. I should feel triumph. Instead, I think of Marin's sentence from the courtyard. I just wanted a safe apartment. So when the refinance closes, the first thing I do is set aside money. Not for another building. Not yet. For safety upgrades. For professional management training. For tenant feedback sessions. For better systems. For the kind of landlord I promised my mom I would be. Saturday comes. Marin texts me an address to a coffee shop. Generic. Busy. Public. Perfect. I show up 5 minutes early. No folder. No paperwork. Just my wallet and my nerves. She walks in 2 minutes later. Her hair is down. She looks lighter. She smiles when she sees me. Not guarded. Not forced. Just her. Hi, she says. Hi, I say. And the word feels like a clean slate. We order drinks. We sit. We talk about everything except landlords and tenants. We talk about her job. We talk about my mom. We talk about the ridiculous amount of time people spend debating the right way to load a dishwasher. We laugh. It feels normal, which is the best thing it can feel like. Halfway through, Marin leans forward. Can I ask you something? She says. Anything, I say. Did you ever think about selling? She asks. After everything. I nod. Yes, I say. I did. I thought if I got out, I couldn't hurt anyone again. And she asks, what stopped you? I take a breath. Honesty, not heroics. I realized leaving wouldn't fix the system, I say. It would just hand it to someone else. I want to fix it. I want the tenants in my building to know the rules protect them. And I want you to know you changed how I do this. Marin's eyes soften. Good, she says. Because I don't want my fear to be wasted. It won't be, I say. I promise. She smiles. Then she says, also I reported that online group again and they finally removed the doxing comments. Your post helped. People listen more when the landlord told them to stop. I nod, understanding the layered truth. I hate that, I say. I hate that my voice carries more weight. Marin tilts her head. Then use it, she says. Use it for the right things. The sentence sits between us like a challenge and an invitation to be better, to do better, to love better. When we stand to leave, she hesitates at the door. Then she slips her hand into mine. Not a grip, not a claim, a choice. Okay, she says quietly, like she's trying the word on. Okay, I squeeze gently. Okay, I echo. Outside, the winter air bites, but the sun is out. The day is bright, and for the first time since that email hit my inbox, my chest feels open. On the walk to her car, she looks up at me and says, if you ever hire another Wesley, I'm breaking up with you preemptively. I laugh. Fair, I say. I learned my lesson. She smiles. Then she adds, also, you're never allowed to fix my sink. That's how this started. Also fair, I say. I'll refer you to a licensed plumber. One with no keys. She laughs and the sound is warm. It makes the whole nightmare feel like it led somewhere worth arriving. As she gets into her car, she looks back. Grant, she says. Yes, I say. Thanks for not making me the villain, she says. And thanks for letting me leave without consequences. I swallow. Thank you for making me look at the parts I didn't want to see, I say. And for showing up anyway. Marin nods. Then she says the last thing I expect. You're not a monster, she says. But you were in charge. And now you're acting like it. She closes her door. She drives away, and I stand there with my hand still warm from hers, feeling like my life has been rerouted. When I get back to my building, my phone buzzes. A new tenant message. A small thing. A request. A normal problem. A chance to do it right. I open it and smile, because the only key I care about now is the one that comes with trust, and that one is earned every single day.